Hey y'all, it's Day. So I'm going to be doing a reading for us today. Um, it has been raining outside for the last 2 to 3 hours. And I've really been enjoying that. I opened the window to get some fresh air as well. If you guys are not already doing that, one of the ways to move stagnant energy or to just get a more a clear space is to open up your window, get some fresh air circulating. Um, so yeah, that's what's been going on. I've had the window open for the last hour and it feels so good. And I was stretching earlier also. And I just took a shower. I always try to make sure that I'm energetically and physically clean before I do my readings, and my hands are clean as well. So, just a little tip for you guys that are reading or aspiring readers. I was trying to think what deck do I want to do my readings from, and I'm kind of feeling so far that I'm going to be doing a reading with um, primarily this Astro Soul Oracle deck. I definitely recommend this deck to you guys if you're still learning tarot and you're also interested in astrology. What I really loved about this deck is that the book. So I know not everybody reads the books, especially if like they're very familiar with tarot, but like the way that I choose my the decks, a part of the way that I choose my decks is like I don't know. I'm not gonna say that I read every book that goes with it, but I do kind of like to read the books. But they for this deck it has the for each of the tarot cards it has the symbols on it. Um, and I just think that's so cool. So I feel like it's helpful. Also, the book that it comes with is very comprehensive, and actually, so this is the Astral Soul Oracle deck, but I think it's also Astral Soul, the Tarot deck. That's the one that I'm actually talking about. The Tarot deck. It has like for each of the major arcana, minor arcana cards, it has like the symbols, like the planets that are associated with it, and I think that's really helpful to understand the energy of the cards. But the Oracle deck cards are like that as well. These have like the houses and the signs. Like it has Sun, Leo, and it has the asteroids on here as well. That's kind of helpful if you're still learning or just in general. So I just wanted to say that. But I feel like this reading is going to be majority through this deck today. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so far we have Pisces in reverse, and the word understanding is coming through. Okay, so we have Pisces in reverse, and we have understanding coming through, and it shows the Pisces symbol and Neptune, which Pisces is ruled under. We also have Mercury, communication, which is ruled by Virgo and Gemini. So you guys get the point. So we have Mercury here. And the word understanding is coming through again. And with this Mercury card, it's just I'm feeling like a little anxious or a little worrisome. And I'm getting like this imagery of someone in conversation, and it feels like an opposing type of conversation. So the word frightening is coming through as well. So imagining someone talking to someone else, and I feel kind of like this intensity or tension within the person communicating, and feelings of fearfulness, of being fearful. We also have Stellium in reverse here. Interesting. We also have I create, the 5th house in reverse, which is ruled by Leo and the Sun. So I create in reverse. And then we also have Sacred Union for Juno. Sideways, we have the Moon card here. Then we also have Vesta in reverse, Devotion. Something about this Vesta card is saying reinforcing or encouraging a devotion to your words, or a devotion to yourself that relates to your ability to communicate. Kind of developing that relationship between you and your communication, or you and how you communicate with others. We also have Cancer coming out here, and this Cancer card is coming above this Mercury card, which speaks to communication, knowledge, information, and curiosity. So something about your communication is tied to your emotions here with the Cancer card, or you have strong feelings about your communication, or in relation to communicating with others. We also have Trine here coming out above this Stellium in reverse. I do feel like someone has something very important, I'm hearing, to them, as in like a topic, something that's very important to them, but they haven't really expressed it to others, or they might be fearful of expressing it to others. And I'm being drawn back to this Pisces card where we heard understanding. And it kind of feels a little overwhelming. It kind of feels like getting lost in the sauce, or getting lost, like I feel like this big, very spacious area and little you, and you feeling like your words are as small as you are, or getting lost in translation, I'm hearing, or having little effect. We also have Leo, which is coming out sideways. Definitely feel like this Leo card is going to be speaking to this communication, as Leo is very expressive. We also have the last quarter coming out here. And the last quarter card says transition, letting go, forgiveness, and adaptation. And it's just feeling like the word repression is coming through. So your communication and your communication in relation to the past may have a lot to do with why you're not communicating, and that's coming up as in I'm hearing pathways. There's like a pathway to allowing or not allowing some of these events that may have happened in the past to continue to hold on to you in a way where you're not allowing, or you're kind of using that as a reason not to communicate. And I'm hearing the word hindrance. So transition, letting go, forgiveness, adaptation. Transitioning from past circumstances that would have kept you in that realm of not communicating, letting go, forgiving, and adaptation, adapting. And the adaptation is very interesting because it's like the word translation is coming up. Translation. Interesting. We also have Sagittarius coming out. Wow. And the word forbearing is coming through. Next time I go to the library, I'm going to try to find a good dictionary app to download to my tablet, because usually I would have my laptop or my tablet nearby so that I can look up these words, because we have like connotative meanings for words, but it's very helpful to just look up and read out the actual definition. So I'll have that next time and I'll write that in my sticky notes. I found a really good dictionary for my phone, but it's Android and my tablet is Apple. So hopefully they do have that app on Apple because I really like it. But I'll definitely make sure that I have that next time. But we have forbearing coming through. So, again, this last quarter where we're talking about transition, letting go, forgiveness, and adaptation, and Sagittarius sign right next to it, these cards are coming above this Leo sign, which came out sideways. So this feels like something that we're needing to wield into our practices, wield into our being, or embody it. I think I heard the word treasure or transition. We also have Capricorn here. We'll see if it comes out later. So very interesting. Going back to this moon card that came out sideways. This came out above this Pisces in reverse and this I create in reverse. So wow. The word semantics is coming through as well. That's actually a word that I was looking up earlier. Semantics. And it's something about, I wrote it down in my sticky notes so that next time I go to the library I look more into it. But something about the relating to meaning or something. I don't know. So the moon is ruled by Cancer, and it represents emotions, instincts, receptivity, and safety. So that definitely speaks to this Pisces in reverse, where I was hearing understanding and talking about it feels like someone's in a very large and spacious place, and they kind of feel insignificant within this space. Themselves as well as their words, feeling like it has little significance or impact. And the word posterity was coming up as well. So it feels kind of like the word ego is coming through. It feels like you needing to develop some form of like having a certain type of a posture or self-esteem or self-confidence in your words and in your speech, or developing that. The word grit is coming through, but just kind of like in relation to other people. So it kind of feels like maybe when you're around other people, maybe that have different opinions than you, or more, I'm hearing the word vulgar, but more, sometimes people can say things as if they're a matter of fact, and it can be hard, but it's like sometimes you have to just let people know that that's just their opinion. So it kind of feels something in the realm of that. Like sometimes people, the posterity is coming up again. Sometimes people can just be like, well, this, and that, and they just sound so confident, so bold, but they can be wrong. And basically, what I'm getting is this kind of important to get to a place where you can bring your ideas and your thoughts and what you know, what you've learned by way of communicating to the forefront, is what I was hearing, forefront. And that's why this Leo card is coming out in reverse underneath this moon card, because it's like you have these ideas, you have these thoughts, you have a sense of integrity, or you have certain opinions that come up in conversations with others that are important to you and that are kind of a core or a basis of who you are, but you just don't express them. So it's like this Leo hidden inside of you. So Leo, this is coming out with the 5th house ruled by Leo and the Sun. I create. This is the house of self-expression and the pleasure of showing who we truly are. Here we see one's creativity and artistic vision, how we like to have fun, playfulness, and pleasure, games of chance, love affairs, and also children. So yeah, definitely just being more expressive and being more bold about, it's like taking up more space, being more bold about who you are through your communication, through your words. There was a card over here that I overlooked. And now I'm being drawn to, this trine card, which came out upright above the stellium. So trine is speaking to fluency, ease, talent, development, privilege, aptitude, self-comfort, temper, laziness, intelligence. And with this trine card, it just feels like you're very supported in this time, and the word development is coming through. So developing your speech, developing communication, thinking about the word habits is coming up. So making it a habit to communicate, making it a habit to be aware of in your communication times that you feel uncomfortable, and not dwelling on it in a negative way, but thinking about it. Think about your conversations with other people. Think of different scenarios that you might have with other people. Ponder on those uncomfortable moments of communication before they happen, so you kind of have an idea of how you feel, or you can kind of get some of those negative, and I'm hearing insecurities, out of the way ahead of time. But I'm seeing that you're definitely supported in this time with the development of your communication. Oh, that's why. Okay, so earlier today, that's so funny how things work. Okay, so earlier today, when I was at the library, yesterday, let me start with yesterday. Yesterday, because I have these issues with speech as well, which is why this reading is so beneficial for me as well, and I'll definitely be watching it. what's it called? I've dealt with suppression of communication in my childhood, so a lot of times when I get upset, it's very hard. It's almost, well, it is debilitating. When I'm upset, it's very hard to speak. Or when something, or just in communication with other people of opposing views, it's easier for me just not to speak. It's easier for me to speak to people that I know are already receptive to what I have to say. And sometimes also, if I feel like something that I say could shatter someone else's perception of reality, I it I can feel that uncomfortableness. Like I can feel other people's emotions, or I can feel the air in the room. Where that becomes complicated is that it's not necessarily always our responsibility to try to gauge how others may react to us. So it could be helpful as an intuitive, but it could be a hindrance as well, because just because I'm aware of other people's emotions doesn't mean that I should have to, navigate or maneuver around that all the time. So it's very complex, and I'm still trying to understand how to balance it. But I was thinking yesterday of humming, because I've been trying to develop my throat chakra and I've been trying to develop my communication, my throat chakra. And I had started humming, and I noticed that, I don't know, I just been learning about my body, just like even with stretching. I noticed that with stretching, it helps release certain stagnant energies in my body. So I'm constantly learning about my body. So humming, I noticed that there's some type of energetic release happening with that. And so I decided today, when I went to the library, to look up benefits of humming. And I found a lot of things, and one of the things that I found is that it helps release stagnant energy in the throat chakra. And I love when I intuitively learn to do certain things with my body, for myself, and then I do research on them later, and they basically confirm them. So I definitely suggest you guys look up the benefits of humming, or take up humming if you feel like you struggle with anything in regards to your throat chakra or self-expression, or if you just want to balance your throat chakra in general. So I've been learning about that today as I've been reading the articles, and I still have a couple more articles to read about benefits of humming and the throat chakra in general. But yeah, sorry if I'm rambling. I hope that was beneficial to somebody, but I forgot what the whole point of that was. But yeah, so yeah, we definitely have some things that are hidden with this moon card coming out sideways. And the moon is represents things that we need to feel through, or to learn, or to navigate intuitively, or things that are hidden. So definitely with this moon card coming out sideways, and with this Pisces card in reverse, it's like a fear of not being understood is coming through, or like I said, a fear of having little impact, or kind of like I keep on getting like being in a dark space, like thinking of like being in outer space. So you have all this space and talking, but your words kind of just falling down, like they don't reach anybody, they don't amount to anybody, it doesn't affect anything, and that's simply not true. Okay, so now I'm being drawn to this Sacred Union card, which is very interesting. What is the Sacred Union card talking about? Okay, so the Sacred Union is you. The Sacred Union Okay, the universe is coming through. There's definitely an emphasis on communication, your communication in relation to the universe. So this is kind of piggybacking off of this false narrative that your words have little impact, because I was just about to say, even if you're the only ones to hear your words, they definitely have an impact. So there's this sacred union between you and the universe in relation to your words. The words, your thoughts is coming through. So your thoughts as well. And there's a need for developing it. I'm also getting I've been learning as well that our words are heard by universe, God, God source, benevolent energies, angels, our guides. They can hear us. So what I have been just recently learning in the last 6 months of the year, or the last year, is to talk my problems and learn to give my problems to God, give them to my angels, my guides, to speak about them. That's something that I haven't been doing for many, many years. And I've noticed that practice has helped me. Like just by saying, you know what, I'm really struggling with this. And it doesn't have to be elaborate or formal at all. Just, kind of talking to yourself, talking out loud as well. It really helps. It's kind of like what I learned from this site. It's called like Sacred Scribes. I think it's called Sacred Scribes by Joanne, or you can search angel numbers, Joanne Scribes, something like that. She has a lot of numerology things and articles on there. I think I learned it from there. You can just talk and give your burdens. When you talk, you can choose to give your burdens away for your angels and guides to carry for you. And I've been practicing it, and it has been helping a lot. Anyways, we have Vesta in reverse devotion. And with this devotion coming out, it just feels like there's a certain level of devotion that we need to have to our words and our ability to communicate with ourselves and with others. And it's kind of like a stand your ground type of energy in relation to speaking your truth, even in opposition or indifference to others. And this need for partnership with what you really think and what you really feel through the realm of communication. Like really sticking behind and sticking with what you say, or valuing what you say and what you think in a way where it's kind of like you think these things, but stand with them as if it is your partner. You know what I'm saying? That's what it feels like. And that's a very interesting concept. I wouldn't have thought of that on my own. To stand with the word stand alone is coming through as well. Stand alone with your words, like as if it's a partner. Stand beside your words. And the word contract is coming through. Wow. It's also interesting because in conversation, in relation to feeling like your words have no effect, what my partner taught me is that even when you talk to people and you stand your ground and you're afraid or you're feeling insecure, even if people save face and they give off this impression that your words didn't affect them, even if it's only to their subconscious mind, it does have an effect. And it's not really our job to kind of control really in what ways it did affect them. Like we might want it to affect them through their actions, or we might want it to affect them through how they react to what we're saying. It's not our job to control, or even if we don't see it, but that's the point of standing in your truth and speaking your truth, is that it's for you and it may be for them, but it's not our job to control it. But it's just good for ourselves and our soul, I'm hearing. Very interesting. And I'm being drawn back to this I create fifth house card with Leo and the sun. It's a part of your expression. And I'm hearing the word true. So speaking on what's true for you. And again, this Cancer card came out above. This Cancer card is ruled by Cancer and the moon, and it came above this Mercury card. So something, the word speech is coming through, something about our speech and our communication, speaking from the heart, thinking emotions with this Cancer card. So also when we're speaking from our heart and we're speaking with it through the energy of Cancer, it also may ask us to, it may require us to be more slow with our words and be more contemplative with our words and how we say them, and also when we say them. Pausing, taking the time to pause before we give a response. Sometimes I personally feel, for some reason, like I'm on a timer when somebody says something to me, and I really want to get to a point where I can remember to pause before I respond and not feel like I have to. That probably comes from my childhood, feeling like I need to come up with a reason. I know one time I was at work at a call center, and I didn't do something that my supervisor expected me to do, and she kind of like had this so for me, I am a Cancer moon, so I hear what people say, but I also feel what people say, and I feel the energy around them. So I kind of feel like I'm getting a double whammy. But because of the feeling and me not being rooted in, it boils down to me not being rooted, it's like I pick up, or I choose to respond to what they're really saying versus what they're saying, or any emotion or anything that is like underlining what they actually say. And it kind of puts me in a shock sometimes when people maybe come to me just abrupt, or if I'm not expecting certain responses. So I didn't do something that my supervisor expected me to, and she kind of was like, I don't know how to describe it. She was just kind of like really wanting a response, like, why didn't you do this, or where were you? And so like, even though she asked me something that I could have easily answered, it was more the aggression or the authority type of like, the way she did it is what kind of like put me into shock. And I'm the type of person that is like, even though I might know the answer to something, I can be perceived as something else because I'm like in shock, taken back. So yeah, I found that very interesting about myself. So anyways, she asked me like, why hadn't I done something? And I was just like that, and I had to really regroup. And in that moment, I don't remember exactly what happened, but I think I didn't have a response for it or something. So I had to like take a moment and gather myself. And then I went back to her like 5 or 10 minutes later and I explained to her what I was doing, um, ins- instead of doing what she had expected me to do. But I didn't like that about myself. I didn't like that I couldn't respond to her and tell her whatever was going on. So yeah, that was weird. But yeah, just the fact that the way that she responded is just like I was just like completely discombobulated because of that. So yeah, okay. Anyways, we have Uranus coming out sideways, and I find this very interesting. I know exactly where this goes. This is going above this Leo card, which came out sideways, above the last quarter of transition, letting go, and forgiveness and adaptation, next to the Sagittarius card. So Uranus. Ooh. So something about your communication, I'm hearing daunting. Something about your relation to communication or your relation to communicating with others in the past may have been daunting to you, or thinking about communicating with others or expressing your true thoughts is daunting. And with the Sagittarius card coming out, whew, Sagittarius is known for, thinking of that bow and arrow, how far the arrow goes and how it arches. Something about what you say can go over people's heads, or it can stretch other people's minds to the point where it pushes them outside of their comfort zone. It's also pushing you outside of your comfort zone. Maybe you're the type of person that doesn't really care for people to know how you think or what you think, like me. Like, I can have a conversation with someone and I don't really care if they know how I think. Like, let me stop. Transition, letting go, forgiveness, adaptation. Yeah, I'm also getting that the people that you have been surrounded around, um, the circumference of their thought form, or their ideas is very limited in comparison to your ability to speak, or your speech, or your thoughts. And that may be a part of the reason why you have stayed so closed off, and that's a part of dimming your light for others' comfort. That this Uranus card is coming out sideways, letting us know that I'm getting like, that bulldozer with that big ball. I'm getting like knocking a house down. That's unfortunately what we have to do. And this whole reading is speaking to this building or this developing of our communication, in order to do that. And please don't misunderstand me. This is not like, how some people is just like say whatever you like. This is not that type of energy of like haphazardly just hurting people's feelings or trying to trigger people. The type of energy that we're talking about now is those instances where you are afraid, you're not saying something, or you are saying something out of fear. So when you find yourself in those situations where you're feeling like, I feel like it would be safer to stay small, I feel like it would be safer to be quiet, I feel like it would be safer, those are actually the moments that we need to stretch ourselves. And the reasons that we're feeling this way is because we know that we're going to stretch other people's minds. We're going to stretch other people's concepts of reality, and this is not our intention, but we have this subconscious awareness that is going to like crack the glass on people. It's going to crack people's perception, or things that they've been living under, ideals that they've been living under, and possibly ideals that they have been kind of like projecting onto others to live under as well. Yeah, so the way that these other people are, the way that they are, it kind of like keeps people in place, keeps people in these small capsules. Because, yeah, that's toxic. And I'm hearing communication barrier, looking at this Mercury and Cancer. Yeah, something about these other people, this oppositional, yeah, something about that. I'm hearing communication styles. Yeah, that's another thing about communication, dealing with other people's communication styles. Ooh, that's a hurdle. So again, with this trine, we're definitely supported in this time to work on our throat, or that anytime that you're seeing this video, definitely encouraged to develop your communication. And that can look like many things: reading, writing, anything. Above the stellium card, reinforcement and concentration, and it's in reverse. So knock it out the park. I'm feeling this 7th house is wanting to come out. Sorry, this is the 12th house. This 12th house is wanting to come out on top of this stellium card in reverse for reinforcement and concentration. So I'm interested to learning about what this is about. But this is the 12th house ruled by Pisces and Neptune. I surrender. Very interesting. So reinforcement and concentration. I surrender. Okay. This is the house of intuition and the unconscious. Here is where we can see transcendent experiences, hospitals, prisons, secret agendas, and hidden enemies, as well as unknown possibilities and one's weaknesses. This house is also associated with long-term confinement, seclusion, and psychic abilities. Yeah, so definitely supported in this trine, and definitely funny how Pisces is coming out again with through the 12th house underneath this trine, where we're supported in our development of our communication with ourselves and through others and in general. So I'm getting like powerhouse with this 12th house coming through underneath this trine. And going back to this feeling, this false belief that our words have little to no effect, and feeling like feeling like powerless or something, or feeling like our words have little significance within seemingly large spaces, but it's actually a powerhouse. I'm getting like you have no idea the effects of your words and your thoughts. So yeah, anytime you find yourself in a situation with others where you feel like your voice is not gonna matter, just remind yourself that that's not true. And the word false narrative is coming up as well. So remember that in those moments where you're feeling fearful or dampened. We also have the 2nd house, and it's coming out sideways, and I'm feeling it coming out over this Vesta in reverse, where we talked about the word devotion and you standing beside your truth in the form of your words. And it's coming out sideways on top of this Vesta devotion and this Cancer card. So the 2nd house represents our values, what we value. So us valuing our speech, us valuing our relationship to our communication style and our communication in general, and how we feel about our communication, or how we feel about what we think. So us valuing what we think in our communication in a way that we're able to express it. That is us valuing what we think by expressing it. So the second house is ruled by Taurus as well as Venus. And the phrase I have. So I have, valuing what you have, as in your thoughts and your communication. This is the house of resources, material possessions, and values. Here is where we see our belongings, wealth, and finances, as well as the pillars on which material, intellectual, and emotional security is developed. So by us developing our speech, developing our communication with others, developing our communication in relation to others, is going to prove to be a pillar on which material, intellectual, and emotional security is developed. And that developing that is going to add on to ourselves in a very physical way. And unfortunately, I'm not able to look up the word postulate right now, but it's kind of giving me that, speaking to hindrances coming up as well, this posture that we are able to have within ourselves, not necessarily in a like an egoic way, but posture, having the word benevolence is coming through, but just having a sense of integrity within ourselves and who we are. Yeah. Emotions, instincts, receptivity, and safety. Feeling safe in who we are. There's a lot of parts of ourselves that we've kept hidden with this moon card coming out sideways, and we're being asked to show a little bit more. We have a lot of cards that came out sideways here. Let's see. We'll look at this later. This is the under the deck energy. So the word mercy is coming through. We have the 7th house coming out, others. So the 7th house is ruled by Libra and Venus. I relate. This is the house of partnerships. Another thing that's coming through is you never know the impact of your words until you say them, really. And I'm getting like us speaking with other people, even though they may not acknowledge it, they'll use it later. Either like when they come to a certain awareness of themselves, or whenever they're ready to free themselves. Like in a way of like whenever they're able to admit it to themselves. So 7th house, Libra and Venus, this is the house of partnerships. Here is where we can see the personal relationships that involve commitment or cooperation of some sort, marriage, spiritual union, agreements, societies, and business partnerships. So yeah, this is just like very interesting. So something about our significant relationships is coming through. I'm getting like it's important for other people to know that it's important for other people to know who you are. And you don't have to reveal everything, but it's important. I'm hearing stance. It's important for other people to know where you stand. It's important for you to be able to articulate to other people who you are, like thinking about boundaries. Yeah. And I'm also getting like other people knowing who you are allows them to kind of reintegrate who they are. It's like you're teaching other people just by being yourself. And that's how, when we talk about authenticity as well, sometimes people just don't know parts of themselves, or maybe they're just not in a place to admit it to themselves right now. And that's what we are talking about earlier. It's not for you to like be the one to change these people, but you just standing in your truth is just enough. It's enough for you, and it's really feeding your soul, and it's strengthening the integrity of who you are, your character. I just keep getting this. It's like maybe that's where this postulate is coming up. The word remembrance is coming through. So yeah, they're gonna remember this, whether they use it now or they use it later. Oh my gosh. Lilith is coming up. Do y'all know anything about Lilith? Do y'all know anything about Lilith? Okay, so this is coming out sideways as well. And all these cards that are coming out sideways is gonna be like this is the wielding of us. This is the development part of us, that where we need to do things, practices, daily practices was coming up earlier. To turn these upright. But Lilith represents repressed desires. You have a repressed desire to express yourself, and I'm hearing to be known, to stand up straight and be like, actually, actually, actually. Okay, repressed desires. This is definitely going to be very developmental. We also have a retrograde coming out here. Very interesting. Retrograde. The word earnest is coming through. What does that mean? I'm getting kind of like this novelty type of energy. I think it's tied into the authenticity, but also being known for your words, I'm hearing. But being known for speaking your truth, being authentic. It has a certain, when you're authentic in your words and in your when you embody authenticity, you have this timelessness, this agelessness, this wisdom, this level of wisdom, this level of novelty to you that no one can take away from you. Like speaking from your heart, speaking from your truth. When you do that, you have this fabric about you, that this quality about you that no one can take away. And we also have the North Node coming out here, so definitely moving in this direction, coming out on top of the Lilith. And North Node is representing destiny and challenges. So this is not easy. The word aggravated assault is coming through. So that may be something maybe that you've experienced in the past, or that you're worried about. At the very, very beginning of this reading, I think I was saying something about, the word postulate is coming up again. Something about someone is feeling anxious talking to someone, or being in a conversation of opposition. So maybe that it has been in the past a part of the reason where you were afraid to speak up or say how you really feel. Maybe someone was hostile towards you, and that is a fear. So definitely, like I said, thinking about these situations ahead of time and kind of like trying to process that trauma is going to be very helpful. Virgo is coming out as well. Ooh. Oh, are y'all ready? Are y'all ready? Cause like I need to work on this for real too, so I'm in it. Like, tell me in the comment section what y'all about to do, cause This is not for the weak. So Virgo is coming out too. Virgo is definitely attention to detail. Did y'all know that Virgo is ruled by Mercury? So yes, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and it's definitely speaking to Virgo coming out in relation to this reading is definitely speaking to the need to be mindful and be intentional with our words. And like I said earlier, I want to implement pausing before I give a response and not feeling like I need to give an immediate response to people right away. One of the practices that I practiced on earlier this year was remembering that other people's emergency is not my emergency. So I know a lot of people talk about this in the workplace, having this anxiety around responding to emails or feeling like you have to respond to emails right away. So you don't always have to respond to emails right away. You can pause and recollect yourself. I was seeing 55 on the clock just now. So that's a change that some of us can make. Not feeling the need to respond to calls right away or at all. Text messages as well. So taking that time to pause, and if you are feeling anxious, taking that time to address that within your body. We definitely need to reconnect with our bodies, make that a thing. We're reconnecting with our bodies anytime we're feeling any type of emotion that feels overwhelming. And this Virgo card in relation to that scenario that we were getting earlier, feeling like we're in this very spacious energy where we're afraid that our words have little impact, but us valuing the little impact that we feel our words have. So yeah, and building on that, quitting. So, feeling we have the first house coming out here, and I'm feeling that this card is going on top of this Pisces in reverse, and this fifth house I create with the Leo and the Sun in reverse. So first house ruled by Aries and Mars. This is the house of the self and identity. Here is where we can see one's personality, behavior, character, physical appearance, as well as their attitude towards life. It starts with the sign known as the ascendant, I am. So yeah, we've been talking about communication this entire reading and our relationship with our communication in relation to others. So, and with Leo coming out in reverse and Leo coming out over here with Uranus confirming that sometimes we feel like our words are unwelcomed, I'm hearing. Unwelcomed, people that don't want to stretch their minds. Not necessarily that we're trying to stretch their minds, but it's not our responsibility to try to manage that for other people. People have to manage that for themselves. And when they lay, like my mom used to say, they don't want to have to deal with this when they lay their head down at night. Okay, so allowing people the responsibility, not trying to manage that, and trusting that people can hear truth, trusting that people can hear and manage their own emotions when it comes to us speaking our truth. But allowing this self-expression is coming through, allowing who we are to show, being more expressive, being able to say through our communications and through what is important to us, through our commitments, I'm hearing, letting that I am come through that. So what I'm trying to say is that when we speak about our truth, when we talk about what's important to us, when we say, actually, you know what, I don't think that way. Actually, you know what, I don't live through those means, or actually, that's not a value that I carry personally. Actually, I don't see it that way. That is us showing our I am. That's us allowing a part of our identity to shine through. And this I am, this first house, this Aries and Mars ruled card is coming out sideways, letting us know that we need to show more of who we are through our communication, reminding us that this is coming out underneath this moon card, parts of ourselves that we've chosen to keep hidden from others because we're afraid of how it might be taken, how we may be perceived, afraid that we might not be able to stand on that or that it's not enough. That's a part of that. The word creation is coming through. That's a part of feeling in that airy space, feeling like it doesn't amount to anything. Trusting that what we say, it will be enough to stand on. Some of us are feeling like we're afraid to have to defend what we think. We're afraid to have to defend our words. And we don't have to be afraid of that. So again, the moon card ruled by Cancer represents emotions, instincts, receptivity, and safety. And also just I'm feeling reminded to remind us that even though people may not respond positively to our words, don't allow that to shake us. And that understanding that the word foundation is coming through, understanding that that is a part of the reason why we haven't spoken up. So I don't want us to go into these situations and we speak our truth and people react to us unfavorably and we fall into thinking that this is exactly why I didn't want to speak up. But remembering that because we're adults now, we have access to more tools and resources now that we can deal with it when other people reject, because that can sometimes be people's instant reaction is to reject what we say or maybe even to laugh at what we say, but they'll think about it later or maybe they won't, but that's not our responsibility. The rewarding thing is that when you go back into your car or when you lay down at night, that you'll be proud of yourself and the conversation that you have, and you continue to build on it. Continue to build on it is something that is definitely coming through. Build on it, and being reminded of what I was hearing earlier. You have no idea the impact of your words, whether it's to yourself, whether it's in a room, whether it's to your family members or your friends. You have no idea. So when you feel those moments where you're feeling closed in based off of other people's perceptions and other people's conversation and the things that they say with so much confidence and so much boldness to say, actually, you know what? This is what I've gathered. And standing on that, allowing your identity to be seen and to come through. Very, very powerful. Okay. My legs are feeling a little tingly again. Okay, so we have here sextile. Okay, this is coming out on top of this I am card, the first house. Let me adjust real quick. So much better. Sextile is coming out in reverse. What could this possibly have to say? Sextile, integration, cooperation, tools, skills, ingenuity, harmony, empathy. Wow. Do I really need to elaborate? I will, but do I really need to elaborate? Integration, something that we're building on. Cooperation, not necessarily thinking that even, okay, so when we need to communicate, what we are communicating is going to be in opposition to what they're saying, or some others may feel like what we're saying means that we're in opposition to what they're saying, but it's not necessarily that we're in opposition, but we are presenting something that is in opposition or opposing what they're saying. Very interesting. But not being afraid of that, not using that as a reason not to speak up. And it's interesting that the word cooperation is coming through, because it's like you not feeling like you're being hostile just by expressing your own personal thoughts, even though that's how it can be perceived. Sextile tools. So tools, resources, learning about and developing our communication skills, ingenuity. So even communication style was coming through. So as we're integrating and we're developing and learning new ways to communicate and balancing our throat chakra, like I said, if it resonates with you, this humming that I've been doing is definitely going to help to get rid of stagnant energy that's kind of been trapped in my throat chakra. Developing your own personal communication style is going to be very interesting with the development of this. Harmony within yourself, harmony with how you feel about yourself. Going back to this posture, this sense of posture within yourself, where you're confident in your ability to communicate, and empathy is coming through as well. So being aware that others may feel some type of way, being aware of that by you speaking up, it's going to shift some things in the room, some perspectives, some thoughts, but not allowing that to hinder or be the reason for or the cause for you not expressing it anyway. Wow, so powerful. So we also have the 6th house coming out sideways. Wow. This is ruled by Virgo and Mercury. I do. This is the house of health and jobs. Here is where we can see the daily work-life routine and organizational ability, as well as body care, diet, and exercise. Animals and pets also belong to this house. So with this 6th house coming out, routine and organizational ability, the words thoughts is coming through. So organizing your thoughts. Some of us may have felt overwhelmed in our thoughts, and it's also going back to this feeling like or fear of having to debate, or fear of having to defend what you think. Something about organizing those thoughts, or fear of those thoughts, or fear of those circumstances where you feel like you have to get in a defensive mode, or feeling like you don't have any ground to stand on. And this coming out in the 6th house, where it's beneficial to start finding personal to you little practices where you're exercising communicating in situations where you may have not before, or that you felt a little uncomfortable, making that somehow a part of your daily practices, this communication. We also have Jupiter coming out here, which is ruled by Sagittarius, going long distances, as well as Pisces, spaciousness, giving yourself room. Jupiter, it has here expansion, gratitude, morality, and enlightenment. Something about this spaciousness keeps coming up, but it's kind of like I don't know if you guys have read about the left brain and the right brain. What is it called? Something about like when you do certain things, it helps certain parts of your brain to start to connect to each other. I forgot if it was the neurons or something. It's like different aspects of your brains will start to connect. Like I was practicing writing with my left hand, and I was reading about that, how it helps certain aspects of your brain to start creating bridges where there weren't bridges anymore, or there weren't any bridges before. And something about that, this communication is speaking to that. Like you're feeling in this, you're small in this big, huge, expanded place, and you may not be able to see it but by communicating, you're creating these bridges that you weren't aware of before. Expansion, gratitude, morality, enlightenment, or you're creating these structures that weren't there before. Yeah, very powerful. So that was the last card that came out, and then I wanted to get to this bottom of the deck energy here. We have the waxing crescent in reverse, inspiration, creativity, growth, accomplishments, and learning. Period. And that pretty much sums up this reading for me. So inspiration, speaking to, like I said, some people will try to save face, or they'll act like your words don't affect them, or they'll try to act like I'm hearing rubbish, try to act like what you're saying doesn't correlate or doesn't make sense. You know, some people will try to gaslight you, but don't allow that to shake you up. We inspire people with our words, especially when we're speaking in authenticity. Truth will always come through. 111 on the clock here as we're an hour and 11 minutes in. So like just know that when you're speaking truth, when you're living in truth, when you're walking in truth, even though the way that you're living opposes others, people feel a certain type of way, it rings. It rings loud. Like that's why vibration and frequency is so important. The Peace Dealer, if you listen to the Peace Dealer on YouTube or follow him, I follow him. One of the things that he said that I actually put on my link in my bio is that the vibration of truth is clarity. Even though people will, the word denominations coming through. An example of something that I live with on a daily basis is like a lot of family members and friends, like they're Christians and they just feel like that's the one and only truth or whatever. It's just like not to try to force your words or force your beliefs on anyone, but it's like when you speak your truth, even if they feel like something as strong as their denomination or their religious beliefs are so different to you, even what you're saying, even though they don't believe it, that they can't deny the frequency of what you're saying. They can't deny, well, they will deny it, but it rings with them. Your truth rings with them in certain ways that in within themselves they can't really deny. Even though they deny it, it can't really truly be denied, because the truth cannot be denied. I mean, it can be denied. That's what is so confusing. It can be denied, but at the end of the day, it's like there's something about you, and that's why that novelty came up when I was getting an image of this elderly man in what appeared to be his living room and a fireplace, and I was like, there's some kind of novelty about you standing in your truth, communicating, even though someone will, it transcends these structures that a lot of people live by and live through, such as their religion, race, creed, different things that people like use that kind of like keep us separated. It transcends that when you live in your truth, when you walk in your truth, when you speak in your truth. It transcends that. It don't matter how. That's why this Uranus card came out. It doesn't matter how someone feels. The word obscene is coming through. Um, Very interesting. The reading that I did previous to this one was talking about someone who it felt like a masculine energy is going through a stage in their life where they want to be more expressive in who they truly are, and expressing who they truly are happens to be them. It felt like the energy felt like cross dressing or like wearing a dress or and I don't really speak on these things, but I thought it was very interesting that that reading came through because um so far in my reading journey, I don't really like premeditate any of my readings, or I don't have a certain narrative for my readings. I just do my readings and I ask that what needs to be heard come out. So I thought it was very interesting. I was getting like some kind of like cross dressing or perceivably like um what was it called? Um, what is that transgender type of vibes was coming through, and someone is trying to find their truth in dressing that way or being in that way. Um, and to other people, it's very obscene. It's very like the word daunting is coming through. It's just like very jarring. Um, but something about you living and walking in your truth, even though it feels very oppositional to other people, something about that, and I'm being drawn to this word pure on this pure life bottle of water. Something about that is so pure that cannot really be denied, even though people will deny it because it doesn't fit into how they've lived their life or what is perceivably right or wrong or whatever. Something about it is so pure, and people will deny it, but shake the room. Shake the room is what I'm getting. And I'm getting like what's his name? This Porter guy? I forget his name. This black guy. He wears dresses. And I'm so inspired by him because I feel like wow, so bold, so courageous. But yeah, I know a lot of you guys probably especially in the black community as well, aren't really fond of that. But hey, if it comes through, I'm gonna speak on it. And it takes courage for me to speak on it, and I'm not even in that realm. So I definitely appreciate anyone who is living that life. So sorry if it's offensive or it doesn't go with the narrative, but that's what I'm getting. And waxing crescent is the bottom of the deck energy. Inspiration, creativity, growth, accomplishments, and learning. Definitely accomplishments in this developmental part of your life right now. So yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this reading helped you guys. It definitely helped me. And let me know how you guys are feeling in the comment section. That's pretty much it. Bye.